it's Romy here. Thanks for tuning into my channel and for your March 2024 soul story. If you've got a sun rising or moon in the sign, then you might find some of these messages resonate for you and just help you as you're navigating through the month ahead. That is my intention. So we're going to open up this month with the energy of death. Now, there is quite a fundamental change happening for you in March. I think you actually get something off the ground that you've been waiting to do for so long. And even though it may feel temporarily like it's splitting your energy, I think doing the work takes much less energy than avoiding the work, and it is going to be worth it for you to see and feel the progress. I think part of getting yourself to that point is going to be about just being super honest and sort of getting to the root cause of perhaps why there has been some procrastination. Because I think, in fairness, there may be a number of things that sort of held you up on a practical level, or just, it wasn't feasible. And yet, as the time's gone on, perhaps it's a little bit more connected to, some insecurity around you or some doubt whether this was the right thing to do, or some sort of limiting or resistant thought pattern. And it's gonna take to sort of reflect on how much came to light in February, because what it's showing me is that energy of death is this sort of closure point, if you like, that was arrived at. Now, even if it sort of happened in the physical, or if it's just been something that you've kind of come to terms with and have decided upon in the month of March, that realization, if you like, is going to help you to kind of redirect your energy a little bit, And I think it's okay to feel like it's time to change your mind, or change your outlook in regards to something, There's definitely a sense of a comeback coming from the setback through the month of March and into April, actually. Now, of course, we are illuminating in Pisces season, the 8th house for you, and so there is a evaluation as well, particularly where you may have been receiving support or where you are looking for support, particularly in a way of abundance, resources, time, energy, and just a kind of reevaluation really across the board of, important relationships, because I think there's a desire from you to want to kind of feel that deepening sense of loyalty and kind of coming together with people that just feel like they're really on your level. And what we see here with how much pressure or how much responsibility she's taking on at the moment, even if, and we look at these flowers and we think, they're beautiful and they're in bloom. So sometimes we can end up in situations where, something can not be necessarily unwanted, but it still asks so much of us. And this is what I mean about March sort of feeling like it is splitting your energy. And yet, sometimes that 10 of Wands says, look, you've come this far. It's worth just pursuing, till we get to a point where, we're then able to see the full rewards and the fruits of our labor. And it's there, and so there's something just about, not being too quick to discount, really some of the more kind of challenging aspects of what it's going to take, and using that from a sort of procrastination perspective. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now, as we move into the first week of March, we're going to have a fairly tense square between Mars and Uranus coming in on the 9th, and that might spur you into action with something, but it also feels a little bit erratic and a bit chaotic. I want to say to you that it's only relevant, i.e. the energy, it's only relevant when you give it energy. And so there's something about March for you, Leo, where you're going to need to deploy some detachment and some discernment in regards to a certain situation, to not feel like you're getting caught up in it, because it's not really worth your time, your energy, or attention. And the reason I say that is because we then have this new moon coming in Pisces on the 10th of the month at 20 degrees. And You're going to need to stop matching other people's energy. You want to stay in your own center this month, because something that you need to focus on, or that's coming through for you, and it feels like it's been a long time in the works, a long time coming, a long time waiting, and finally, you know, there's some sort of karmic justice coming through for you in regards to this. And it may have felt, you know, when we look around us, and this kind of goes across the board really, things can feel so diluted, right? So sort of watered down. And there's something about being able to show up with the richness of, you know, something at its sort of true essence. And so you may have created something, you might have been expressing yourself in a certain way, or something's going on that you felt like, oh, this isn't appealing enough, you know, I'm not doing enough, or something that I've done isn't kind of hitting or attracting the thing that I want or I desire. And yet there's something here that's going to show you that was exactly what, you know, you needed to do. It was about showing up and sort of being bold and doing it your way and being your true authentic self. And there is a sort of you know, an outcome, if you like, that you're going to see start to materialize in March, that's going to give you the confidence to know and validate, I think, that approach that you've taken. The new moon in Pisces is also set to give you an absolutely beautiful new insight into something or someone. And I think when you feel that, it is a bit of a game changer, because you sort of see the value in it more than you ever have before. You know, like all of a sudden, like you just look at somebody differently. Or, you know, you look at something that you've created, or something that you're doing, or that, you know, is part of your world. And the change in perception that seems to come as a result of that, you know, that new beginning that the Pisces energy is affording you, is really beautiful. It sort of like opens up your world in a beautiful way. I also think that sometimes, and Pisces is a wonderful sign for helping us to realize this, that the dream or dreams that we have require a healthy dose of delusion. You know, sometimes no one else can really see or feel what we are. And sometimes it just requires that sort of obsessive energy to really forge ahead with something that only you at this moment in time really understand the significance of. And that Pisces illusionary, slightly sort of fantasy-led capacity to tap into something, along with that 8th house energy that sort of says, I will get really intense and obsessive about this, can materialize in this way that sort of helps you to drive something forward as well. 6 of Pentacles tells me that there is more coming to you. What are you seeking more of? Put your time, energy, and attention, especially around that new moon, towards that, Leo, and you're set to see some validation showing up. This is the month where I think that you can make moves quite quickly, quite boldly, quite progressively, and quite efficiently, if I'm completely honest. We might have some conversations going on, especially with that 8th house, regarding how other people's money, or, you know, the money that is coming to you from other sources, you know, loans of the like, you know, all of these things are sort of being considered, looked upon, perhaps, you know, refinanced, readdressed in some way. And again, this feeling of more coming. So this would also be a good month from a negotiating perspective, or to revisit something. All planets are direct, and we're not moving into shadow until around the 20th. And, you know, when we make our way towards the sun shifting into Aries and this beautiful equinox energy arriving, remember, it's giving us that seasonal alignment to rebalance something in our world. 6 of Pentacles says, I need to look at this situation and it needs to be addressed because it's not enough. That's what I'm feeling. You're looking at something and saying this is not enough. So whether that's on a more practical terms, in terms of like, you know, finance, money, abundance, or, you know, the time that's being given to you, or, you know, whatever the translation of that, I feel like at that equinox, you're realizing, if this is not serving me, not working for me, what do I need to do? So either it is a sense of renegotiation with regards to something, or you may change your mind and want to move on or exit from a situation, or double down and really say, okay, you know, I'm prepared to put X amount more in order to receive more. So whatever the conversation around that point in time, it's set to help support a rebalancing and also better terms is what I'm picking up around that as well. You're going to receive better terms in regards to something. So don't be afraid to ask for that. You know, it might be an extension, it might be interest rates, it might be just, you know, the negotiation of amount of time that, you know, you're spending with somebody, for example. But it feels favourable to you, especially with justice coming in. And if there is any kind of legal component to this, it also seems to work favourably for you. 8 of Pentacles. What I like is she's really honing her craft here. Beautiful opportunity. As I said, getting something off the ground, it takes hard work. It does, but like I said, doing the work is much less energy than avoiding it, right? The procrastination will not serve you in March. You're wanting to get to the end of the month and feel like, okay, I got it done. And even if it's a bit rough and ready, it's okay, because it's a sort of continuing work in progress, if you like. But as long as you've got enough of the foundational piece in a state where you feel like you can look at it and tangibly see the efforts of your investment, then you're going to feel really good and you're going to want to continue working on it. If we've got a month where you keep avoiding and delaying and procrastinating, then the heart starts to go from it, and then we start to feel like we've got too much of a mountain to climb, and you're going to talk yourself out of it, and that's not what's meant to be through the course of March for you, okay? Now, the full moon lunar eclipse coming in Libra, of course, on the 25th at 5 degrees, highlights this me versus we axis that we're working with the north and south nodes. This is a continuation of a storyline that you fell into last year and will continue all the way through to 2025. So there's not necessarily a resolution around this full moon, but there's certainly more revelations, insight, and information that's going to help you. Knight of Swords says it comes in quite chaotically. It kind of feels in, not aggressively, but it's just like you're not going to miss this, right? It's kind of like being hit between the eyes squarely with a piece of information or news or insights. And you know, knowledge is power, right? So don't want you to look at this scenario as feeling like it's somehow disarming you. Far from it. I think what's really going on here, Leo, is that, you know, you're meant to be seeing something for all of its true colors, okay? The good, the bad, and the ugly. And when we can look at it in that way and we can be super honest with ourselves, we then have an opportunity to evaluate, you know, where it sits in our life and to the degree we want to kind of prioritize or commit or invest to it. And of course, I'm talking, you know, hugely regarding relationships under this Libra influence. So that being important, because if there are things that are just getting off the ground, things coming to light that you've reassessed from February, you know, this whole kind of understanding of how specific connections and people in your world are either supportive or indeed draining and holding you back from the achievement and attainment of, you know, what your heart desires, what you want, what you're meant to achieve through the course of 24, then March is quite a pivotal time, I think, for you making bigger decisions. Remembering, of course, this is continuing to play out through this year and next. So even if there's specific changes happening kind of at the ground level in one or more relationship, the pattern or the theme that is being addressed within that connection, you're going to be continuing to work on, which means that it might show up again for you to revisit, okay? So it's about also not necessarily believing that, you know, once I get rid of this thing, you know, if I leave this job or if I exit this relationship or if I you know, whatever, fill in the blanks, all of a sudden I'm going to have kind of dealt with this. And yet here we are again coming up against the same storyline because there's something deeper going on that we need to resolve. But the information that comes through is super positive in terms of what it affords you to see. You know, you need to see and understand something. You kind of know where you stand, I feel, around that eclipse, even if it feels like it's going to quite swiftly change a direction in regards to how something was going to be playing out or the trajectory that you were kind of assuming was in play, okay? So keep that in mind as well around that full moon. In fact, Pallas Athena the asteroid goddess, shifts retrograde in Sagittarius on the 29th. And remember, she helps us with our strategy. And so in Sagittarius retrograde, we're in this place where we're like, okay, let's just look before we leap. Let's maybe rethink that bigger plan. And I think what comes sort of swooping in, the news information messages as a result of that Knight of Swords, is telling you, okay, we might just need to tweak this bigger plan, or there might be something that's about to fundamentally change within it. But you know what? That's okay, because all of this is about helping you. Now, it might test your stability somewhat in one regard or another, but ultimately it's about a new chapter beginning, and one where you have resolved some of the bigger patterns in your world. So if you're new to the channel, Leo, the last 3 cards we cover off in the extended version of my reading. Talk for another 30 minutes or so, looking at personal question and a relationship card for you as well. Hope you'll join me. The link is below. Just going to go ahead and clarify some of the main cards here to see the direction that we'll be taking that extended reading in. So you'll find all the decks listed below, along with links for how to work with me, sacred titles, products I've created like the Goddess Reports, my Sacred Soul support. You'll find beautiful Equinox rituals for the course of this month, and that's all linked below, but you can find it over on romywiser.com. 10 of Wands. We've got 5 of Cups, 2 of Wands here. Justice, Ace of Swords, Strength, Tower. Okay. The truth will set you free this month, Leo. Right, 6 of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles. Good. There's offers of support coming in. Chariot, helping you to move forward. 8 of Pentacles, 7 of Cups. Another energy of death coming up. So something coming to an end, but who are you without this thing? Fill in the blank. Who are you without this person? Who are you without this job? Who are you without this title, with this situation or energy in your life? 8 of Cups, Queen of Pentacles. Okay. Right, let's have a look at Life Soul Vision Oracle, which is my own deck. So if you're new again to my channel, please check this out over on my website. We have Spirit Wolf, Certainty of Trust, Soothe Your Soul. You've got a really comprehensive guidebook with my deck, and it goes into descriptions, the meaning, working with the card and the light and the shadow, and a beautiful affirmation as well. Spirit Lion coming through for you like that, Leo. Solstice, just a nod to the seasonal alignment that we'll be having this month with Equinox. Okay, finally we're just going to look at an energy oracle for Leo for the month of March. You've got the 7th chakra Archangel Uriel. Thank you so much for tuning in, Leo. I will see you again in April. Please do join me for the extended. The link is below. I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.